Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later, because we're here today to take a look at the frankly gorgeous MPG-11 DK-2 Guard, which, let's be fair, is a bit of a mouthful. But anyway, this is thanks to the fine folks at Hobby Genkai, who are a Japanese collectibles retailer with tons of robots in disguise for amazing prices. Link in the description below. For starters, let's talk about this vehicle form, because it's really rather lush. Now, this is actually a deco that we've been waiting quite a while for, and I don't think this disappoints, I gotta tell you. And a large part of that is because the Masterpiece mold has captured that Nissan Vanette styling just to a T, really. Like, it looks absolutely fantastic. I love these real-world licensed vehicle modes that Masterpiece gives us, and although it may not be a sports car or anything, I still think this MPG offering is really something quite special. And of course, a large part of the appeal here is that we're finally getting a Masterpiece rendition of the black Diaclone release that became Ironhide during Transformers, and it was actually the second car robot release ever made, and also released by Takara under Diakron in the United States, which is where this toy kind of gets its name from, DK2, and yeah, it's just really good to see at long last. Really digging this little stripe down the side, that adds a very welcome pop of colour and looks really cool. Lots of little paint applications going on, including indicator lights and more orange just underneath there as well. And of course you've got chrome for that bumper. There's more chrome at the rear, including for the exhaust, and probably want to look after that because it did wear on the original Ironhide toy and the ratchet as well, so I'm going to be careful with that. But you've also got some little translucent tail lights there as well, so that looks great. Little touch of silver on the roof, just like on the original. And you know, you've even got paint down to things like the door handles, which is real attention to detail, I think. In fact, I was initially surprised to see that the windscreen wipers aren't painted, but then they're black on Ironhide and Ratchet, so perhaps that makes sense. I will say, I do still miss the rubber tyres on these Masterpiece releases, right? Like, I just think that it would have added so much, especially when the G1 toy does have rubber, so that's a little bit of a thing. And whilst it does roll really nicely, I do find that it's quite hard to get it sat flush on all four tyres. It can absolutely be done, and I've managed it now, but just it takes a little bit of finagling, you know? My only other slight grumble, and it's a silly one, but this thing is a magnet for fingerprints, right? Like, there's something about the black plastic finish, which is unpainted, that just picks up every single fingerprint going. I had to polish it a little bit before putting it on camera. And it's also true of the windshield, of course, but yeah, lots of fingerprints going on there. Now, speaking of the windshield, of course, you've got a little face hanging around in there, which is a homage to the original toy's robot mode. It's always been a little bit of a freaky thing in this Masterpiece version, but hey, it's a bit of fun. Now, this MPG release also comes with this little piece of cardboard, which again recreates that original face design from the classic Ironhide toy, and it's sort of meant to look like it's on the driver's seat, of course, because he doesn't have like a traditional head, that toy in the robot mode, and you can insert that in here. It's meant to be for the robot mode, but I'm pretty sure you could jimmy it into the vehicle mode as well, if indeed you wanted to. You can also add in some other accessories, such as the character's gun, which just plonks in the top like so. Alternatively, there's a very nifty little bit of weapon storage for the main two guns, which just click really nicely into place under this rear axle. That said, it is kind of strange considering that all of the other weapons can fit in this very handy little weapons sled arsenal storage thingy that comes with it. And yeah, the guns themselves, which are here, are the only thing that fit into the vehicle mode. Everything else just kind of sits exclusively in here, and it's cool, but it's just kind of strange to make a feature of the one thing in terms of weapon storage, you know? Regardless, I got precious little to grumble about here, because I think it's a really cool mold, really cool vehicle mode, and actually it's just great to see some Diaclone repaints going on in Masterpiece and MPG again as well. It felt like maybe they were done and dusted for a hot second there, especially as it does also bring us one step closer to a complete Diacron lineup, right? Like with this guy being DK2, we've already had Masterpiece Spin Out, which would have been DK1, and we just need DK3, the blue Trailbreaker now, and then we're golden. And you know, these Diaclone repaints have been a bit of a staple of the line ever since the days of stuff like Masterpiece Tiger Track and the frankly absurdly gorgeous Blue Streak, which may be one of the nicest car modes in Transformers of all time, I think. And as I say, there's always been something about a real-world licensed vehicle mode to me. Like, I just love scale model cars and that kind of stuff anyway, so seeing Transformers done in this kind of style and this sort of uber real-world accuracy, it's like catnip to me. I just love it. But beyond that, it's just really good to have another use of the Ironhide mold, because I always thought that this was a really great design, and again, I was just shocked that they never did the black one. It does make me wonder if we might see further uses of the mold, to be honest, you know, like a green clone Ratchet after the 2007 movie. I don't know, stranger things have happened, it may never come to pass, but it would be fun at least. Now it's time to move on and take a look at transformation, but before we get to all of that, I do want to mention that this video is brought to you by the frankly amazing Hobby Genki, who are a collectible store based in Osaka, Japan, but they ship worldwide and they've got an amazing range of robots in disguise, all at exceptionally great prices when you convert it from Japanese yen. They've also got a range of low-cost, good quality shipping options as well, and you will find an affiliate link to their store in the description below, so I wholeheartedly recommend that you go and give them a look and maybe get yourself a bargain today. What are you waiting for? Anyway, let's keep things moving, and of course it's time to take a look at transformation. Transformation done, and you know, this toy may be 9 years old now, but I still marvel at that conversion process. I think it's easy to underestimate what a big deal it was to see something like this in 2016. You know, a fully integrated G1 screen accurate, real world accurate Ironhide. Like, just incredible to conceive then and still great fun now. What a piece of engineering this thing is, and quite an attractive robot mode too. I do feel that this mold came in for an unfair share of grumbles back when it was first released, and you know, being objective about it, there are definitely some quirks, but overall I just still think it's really good. I mean, it does have kind of an odd body shape with a little bit of concaveness going on here and a bit of gappiness. I do see it, you know, and it's no doubt when you flip him over that you see some of that going on as well, with this kind of back shelf just here and the kind of gap just there and everything, and that's to say nothing of perhaps the most egregious part of this design, eh? Yes, he has bum wheels. It's a thing. Everybody's always complained about it, and fair enough, because they are just kind of stuck there, and there were like third-party upgrade kits and things that made more sense of this design. I think this in particular sort of became a bit of a thing because a lot of people just couldn't figure out why this solution when it clearly could have been done some other way, and I think that's fair enough, but you know, for better or for worse, this is what they went with, and actually I don't think it's a big problem. In fact, I would go as far as saying it's a total non-problem in hand. After all, I've spent a great deal of time enjoying both Masterpiece Ironhide and Ratchet over the last 9 years, and I've never ever sat there getting completely hung up on the fact that they've got butt wheels, you know? Like, it just doesn't bother me all that much. Besides, how can you complain when he's got a noggin as attractive as that, right? That is Ironhide to a T, and yes, I know this is DK Guard or whatever, but it's still black Ironhide in my mind, and I think this red face with the blue eyes, it really sells it to its best. I'm pleased that they didn't do this, weirdly, because it's a Diaclone homage, but I feel like an Autobot logo here would just add a sort of necessary pop of red right in the center there, but there is a sticker if indeed you want to add it, but that's not really my jam on Masterpiece toys. Now, of course, overall this design is meant to look like Ironhide from the cartoon, but there are some nods towards the original toy, and that's much more obvious on the shins as well, where you get a little pop of blue and this kind of retro detailing. Now, initially I thought the included sticker sheet might add a lot more color to the figure, but as it turns out, only 2 of these stickers actually goes on the toy itself, and that's the aforementioned Autobot logo and this little yellow detailing which actually goes on his back. Weirdly, the rest of the decals are all to tart up this little weapons platform thing and the main missile launcher itself, so that's a little bit unexpected. Of course, if you do want to add a little bit more pizzazz, then you can put that little bit of cardboard inside the windscreen and then just close that up. Really quite something. And let's be clear here, this doesn't make a ton of sense because of course it's meant to represent the head of the original toy, as I say, but in this case he has a head, so go figure. I mean, I guess you can just kind of pop that off, if anything, and you're left with that, which... Is this anything? I mean, I'm not sure it quite does it because you've still got the neck hanging out there, but you know what? I would love to know if someone actually displays it like this, right? Like, good on you if you do. Alternatively, if you prefer, then there is an alternate face for the main head, so you can just take that off there and then replace it with the alternative, and That is a little bit of a strange one. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one, actually. It just looks kind of a bit wrong. I don't know. I get what they're going for with this. I think that it's a cool option, but it's not one I'm going to use. I think that's a definite stay in the box, in my opinion. And of course, a large part of that original toy design was the kind of sled piece that the robot mode stood on. You know, it's literally half the alt mode that kind of splits off, and something that the cartoon completely abandoned, for better or for worse, but it is paid reference to here with this sort of weapons platform thing. I mean, they're still very different, and obviously the original has treads, and it's like a working thing that you could put Diaclone pilots in, and assuming they weren't sitting on his face or whatever else, but this new version is super cool. It could have done with some treads or something, but I really like what they've done with this, and it's a great way of storing all of the various accessories as well. First up, we've got his dual blasters, which were used by Ironhide to no great effect in the '86 movie, and I feel like these are the kind of default options for this design, especially with the way that they store in the alt mode. Really though, I think my preferred options for this black MPG release are this kind of laser thing just here, and this kind of back-mounted missile launcher, which is cool because it does have a separate missile, and it's got really nice blinging chrome. It just looks fantastic, and all of that is in reference to the original sled. Alternatively, they have kept all of the pieces from the original Ironhide release, of course, including this rocket pack, which will look familiar to anybody who's seen the original G1 cartoon, and that comes with a couple of little blast effect pieces that you can just kind of tab in just there. Really nice colour on those. Love the blue and the kind of gradation going on in the clear plastic, and neat little touch with a little bit of white paint just there. Next, you've got a little radar dish accessory which just plugs onto his forearm like so. That's a bit of fun. Alternatively, if you fold the hands away, then you've got various options to kind of plug in their place. The first are these kind of shooting fingers which are just molded into place, and I know he looks like he's probably going to shoot lasers out of them, but from memory it's glue, and I think it's from Dinobot Island. Next, you've got these kind of red attachments which could double as like hand replacement blasters. That's pretty cool. And last but not least, you've got this black pair, which means that all in you've got tons of accessories for this release. If anything, like too much. I mean, it's good that you can store them on that sled, because otherwise they'd be very easy to lose. But you know, regardless, I just think that they've really gone to town on homaging that original figure, as I say. It's like a true love letter to Diaclone and Diakron in many ways, and you gotta respect Takara Tomy for that, right? Like, they never forget their roots, and this release absolutely proves that. And again, it's great to see the return of the Diaclone deco in Masterpiece and MPG. I mean, there have been a few in more recent times, of course, but there were some notable absences, of which this was definitely one, and I couldn't be happier to see it filled out. But even beyond that, it's just a great use of an already fabulous mold, and I gotta tell you, as much as I love the original Ironhide and Ratchet, I think this might be my favourite of the three so far. I don't know, for the longest time this was one of those why did they never do that repaint examples, you know? And now that it's finally here, I kind of feel like they've gone to town on it and added another layer beyond what I might have expected they would, and it's simple stuff, but it adds up to what is essentially a really nice repaint. All of which is to say there's a lot to like here, making MPG-11 a very solid recommend from me. It's a toot. Now, as I mentioned before, this review is brought to you by Hobby Genki, a Japanese collectibles store with tons of Transformers in stock and some amazing prices as well. So you'll find an affiliate link in the description below, and you absolutely should go and check them out. I'd also be very grateful if you could leave me a like for today's effort, please, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But otherwise, that's it from me. So have a great rest of your day, and TTFN.